Shalom, brothers and sisters. I hope you guys are ready to get into another topic or subject. Today we are going to discuss what to do, or what do we do if the clouds or the weather is blocking our view from seeing a new moon crescent at its appointed time, or when we should see it. That can be a bit complicated, and depending on certain variables, it could factor in and change the way we would handle it, and we will discuss different situations to make it more clear. Let us first lay a foundation with Scripture. Here in Genesis 1, starting at verse 14, it says, "And Elohim said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the Shemaim to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good." So we have the sun, the moon, and the stars for times, for days, for seasons, for years. And, it's his clock, it's his timepiece up in the sky for us to tell time. Old school clocks used to have a hour, minute, and a second hand, and we could look at the sun, the moon, and the stars in that manner. Okay, so if we look a little closer at verse 14, the word seasons is moed or moedim, which is Yah's appointed times. They're appointments with Yah. All right. So moving on to Leviticus 23, it says in verse 1, "And Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say to them concerning the feast of Yah, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feast. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yah in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of Yah, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons." So here again, if we look a little closer in verse 2, the word feasts are the moed or the moedim. Okay, in verse 4, for feast, it is moed. And also for seasons, it is moed once again. Okay, so these are his holy days. These are his appointed times. Okay, and we have from Genesis telling us the sun, the moon, and the stars help us to know when these times are. Moving on to get a little more specific, here in Psalm 104 and verse 19, it says, "He appointed the moon for seasons, the sun knoweth his going down." Okay, so the Yereach, the moon, is for the Moedim. That is very specific there. So the sun and the stars play a role also with times and years and what have you. But to get very specific, the moon is for the appointed times, the Moedim found in Leviticus 23. And in Leviticus 23 and verse 23, it says, "And Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, you shall have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation, a Mikra Kodesh. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah." Okay, so let us reason and think about this. If the moon is for the moed, the moedim, and the 1st day of the 7th month is for, or is an appointed time, then it only stands to reason that the moon is for the 1st day of every month, because this Moedim is the 1st day of the 7th month. So for the moon to tell us when this time is, it would also tell us the beginning of all months. Okay, so we have this foundation, and if we go over to these pictures of, apologies, of the clouds here, this is a picture from today, from November 22nd in the evening after sundown, looking for the new moon. Okay, this is also a picture of that same day. This is a picture of the day before. I believe that light in the sky, this is the same day, that light in the sky, I believe that would be the moon. I'm not positive about that, but that is exactly where the moon was supposed to be using technology, right? And kind of where it should be within the gates. That is where the moon should have been. Do we know that that was the moon? We do not. And at this current time, it was the end of the 29th day of the 8th biblical month. Okay, so if you have a situation like this and the clouds are covering your view and you cannot confirm a new moon crescent, would you call it a new month? No, you would not. No, you would not. Now, we live in a time of technology where we can communicate with people in other locations and what have you. And this new moon crescent was confirmed here within the United States by a brother in Texas. Okay, so because we know this, because it is the same country, the same vicinity, we would use that as confirmation. If we were in the wilderness and we could not communicate, couldn't use technology to communicate, we would have to be looking with our own two eyes and purely that. Okay, purely that. But in this situation, because we can lean on one another, we called this the new moon this day. Okay, we called this the new moon this day. Now, if it was spotted in South Africa, if it was spotted in South America, I personally wouldn't think that is valid to use those sightings for it. If we don't have somebody here, if we don't have witness, at least a witness or two here that are confirming seeing this moon, then we would have to default to the next day. Well, the next day looked like this. We got layers of clouds upon layers of clouds. You couldn't see anything. I went out multiple times, spent time sitting there looking, and you couldn't see a glimpse of anything that appeared to be the moon. So what would you do in this situation? Well, in this situation, it would be the end of Yom 30. If we went out on the 29th day, we don't see the moon, then it would become day 30. When day 30 comes around, we go back out to spot the moon again. If we don't spot the moon again, what do we do here? What we do here is it becomes the new moon. Why? Because there is never 31 days in a biblical month. I've been watching the moon for years, spotting new moons. It's always 29 or 30 days. There's never 31 days. Right? The moon is for the Moedim. The moon is for the months, the months, right? So this is what this is based off of. You would never have 31 days. So by default, in this situation, it would become Yom 1 of the next biblical month. Because we have technology at our disposal, we are not cast into the wilderness at this point. We could lean on one another at these times. There will come a day where we won't be able to do that. So we need to figure things out and understand how to go about it. So when that time comes, we can know what time it is. So we're not going to drag this on. That is what I have for you today. What do we do in these different situations? That is how we would go about it. Shalom to you all. Shalom. Hope you have a blessed day, a blessed night, and until next time.